everyone, and welcome to UC San Diego. My name is Samantha Woolley, and I coordinate Triton Day, Transfer Triton Day, and orientation at Eleanor Roosevelt College at UCSD. We have a panel of transfer students here to share their inside knowledge regarding what it's like to be a student at ERC and UCSD. In this video, we'll be addressing some of the frequently asked questions from incoming transfers. First, let's take a minute and have each of them introduce themselves. Mary, would you start?
Hi, my name is Mary, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a first-generation, fourth-year transfer student from Orange Coast College, majoring in human developmental science with a minor in psychology. Here at UCSD, I'm vice president of Lebanese Social Club.
Thank you. Ivana, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Ivana, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm a first-generation, fourth-year transfer student from Saddleback College, majoring in communication. Here at UCSD, I write for the student-run campus-wide digital newspaper called the Triton.
Thank you so much, Ivana. And Brayden, would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I'm Brayden. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I am a third-year transfer student from Saddleback College, majoring in history with an emphasis on war, revolution, and social change. Here at UCSD, I'm involved in sorority fraternity life, and I'm an orientation leader.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for being here today. So we're going to start with a question from Mary. Mary, what is the college system at UC San Diego?
So the college system at UCSD is how we split our entire campus into 7 colleges, and each one has a different philosophy. So here at Eleanor Roosevelt College, or ERC, our philosophy is developing world citizens through scholarship, leadership, and service. The idea is to facilitate a smaller community setting within the larger UCSD campus, and each college has its own academic advising, student affairs, counseling, and psychological services staff, eateries, and first-year residence halls all in one area. Transfers live in a community together regardless of the college to facilitate community building. So each college has a slightly different atmosphere. For example, I think that ERC is very active and friendly community with all of our ERC organizations, and we have many events that go on the green main space that's in the middle of the entire college. And no matter your major, you really do belong to ERC. A question a lot of incoming students has is whether or not their major fits in with the college's general education, or GEs. For example, many biology majors think they don't belong here because it's so history-based, but they really do. Everyone interacts so cohesively, and there's never any distinction between any of the majors. So all different majors can and will exist in the same college. For example, all of us here, we're all different majors, and we all coexist here. Regardless of your college and major, you will have an academic plan set up so you can keep track of your progress, so don't feel that you have to go through it all by yourself. Additionally, each college has a different set of GEs meant to explore the college's philosophy. In ERC, we have a greater variety in the type of classes that we're required to take, which allows us to dabble in many different subjects. Regardless of the agreement you're coming in with, make sure to check with academic advising to know which classes are required to graduate from ERC and your major.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, Brayden, if you choose to live on campus as a transfer student, what should you expect?
So transfers, they're typically housed in apartments. When I was on campus, I was in a triple, and I lived with 6 other guys. Regardless of where you end up living on campus, you will have access to a desk, a chair, a closet, and a bed, of course. And although it's kind of a tight space sometimes, depending on where you end up living, there's safe space savers that you can use and other things to keep yourself organized to make sure that you can make the best use of what you're given. Every community on campus does have laundry services close by and a market as well. I would highly recommend, before you end up moving in September, to start communicating with your roommates as soon as you're aware of who they are. It's important to know what you guys will be bringing so you don't end up with like 2 microwaves or 2 TVs or something of the like. It's also a good idea to kind of coordinate, especially if you're in apartments, the cooking materials you'll have, because like I said before, you don't want to double up. When it comes to the staff that is living on campus, or not living on campus, when it comes to the staff that is on campus with you, you have resident advisors or student RAs. They oversee the well-being of those who live in their building. So they basically have a safe, welcoming community. They're there to support you in any way that you need. There is also custodial staff in apartments. They come once a week. They clean the common areas, so things like your kitchen, your shower, your bathrooms. They also restock your toilet paper and restock your trash bags. If you end up wanting to live with an incoming student, you need to make a request online during the summer, and both of you need to request each other in order for you to be placed together. Finally, there's no curfews on campus, so you can leave and come back whenever you want. You don't need to let anyone know where you're going, although I would highly recommend for safety, letting at least a couple of your roommates know where you're going and when you plan on returning, just so they can keep an eye on you just in case something bad does happen. There's also residential security officers or RSOs that are on campus as well that can help resolve any disputes or help you get locked out of your apartment. Our dining halls, as opposed to the buffet or swipe system at other campuses or other colleges, we use a dining dollar system, so you only end up paying for what you order. It's all loaded onto your student ID at the beginning of the year, and it's your job to budget out throughout the entire year how you're going to use them. The good news is if you end up using more than you need, you can, or if you end up using more than you're originally allotted, you can buy more, and they also roll over into fall quarter the next year in case you end up not using them as quickly as you thought you would. There's also a Grubhub app that you can download that lets you order food using your dining dollars if you want to just pick it up on the go. Let's see, there's also Triton Cash. Triton Cash is used at Price Center, as well as the bookstore, not the bookstore, sorry, as well as coffee shops and some of the dining halls around campus, as well as some off-campus locations as well. And Triton Cash is also connected to your ID card, and you can add money onto that whenever you'd like. If you don't have a dining plan, the good news is you can still use the dining halls because they also take cash and credit cards. And the food offered on campus, it's actually surprisingly good. There's a variety of dining halls, such as OVT or Ocean View Terrace, which is located in Marshall. They've got DIY pizza, side bowls, and smoothies, and as well as some other things. Cafe Ventanas is in ERC, and they specialize in culturally themed foods. And their main menu attraction is the World's Fair, which has a rotating menu that is different every single day. There's also Goodies, which is kind of like Chipotle, where you get to make your own burritos. And then there's also Pines, which is my personal favorite dining hall. I really like their breakfast options, especially the breakfast burritos. They've also got a variety of other things as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Braden. All right, now we're moving to you, Ivana. What is a normal day on campus like? How do students do everyday things like get food and study?
For me, a normal day on campus usually includes waking up at least a few hours before class to have enough time to get ready and either drive to school and get parking or catch the bus on time. Once I get to school, I normally will go straight to my first class, and during my breaks, I'll either study and eat by myself, meet up with my friends, or visit my professor's TA's office hours to get some help on assignments or test preparation. After class, I will either drive or take the bus home, go run some errands, grab some food, or hang out, study with some friends. Since I also do write for the Triton, sometimes I will work on my articles or attend meetings in between or after classes. I normally will have 3 or 4 classes a day that each will last about an hour or 2, sometimes longer depending on the class. Depending on my schedule, I'll sometimes get a few small breaks or 1 or 2 very long breaks. For food, I will either bring it or buy it, depending on if I had time that morning to pack it. What's very helpful and useful is that in Price Center, PC, there is a commuter fridge in the Price Center arcade, as well as a vending lounge and shared microwaves. As far as getting around campus, I'll sometimes use a Bird or a Lime scooter. They're always around. You can ride your own bike, or there's ones also available for use through apps, just like the scooters. There's also a campus shuttle, which is great. It's available near each college to get you to different parts of campus. As mentioned before by Braden, there are over a dozen dining halls on campus, which is also amazing. My personal favorites are probably 64 in Roosevelt or Cafe V in ERC. There is, of course, the infamous Price Center food court. They have a lot of different dining choices, such as Burger King, Subway, Panda Express, just to list a few. I love a good spicy Italian from Subway, or honey sesame chicken with chow mein from Panda Express. You can also use a debit, credit card, cash, or Triton Cash at any of the dining halls, as mentioned before as well. In PC, there is also the Sunshine Market, or even different markets available at each college. There are also several restaurants to eat at, such as Croutons by the Student Services Center, or Soda and Swine that's a little bit closer to, a little bit past like in the Ravel area. There are also several coffee shops, such as Starbucks, Pete's Coffee, or smaller coffee places also around the different colleges.
Awesome. So can you tell us also some popular places to study on campus?
Yes, some very popular places to study on campus would include, of course, our Geisel Library. Not only a great place for studying, but also a great spot for pictures from the outside. It is open until midnight, modified hours during the weekend and finals week, with the space on the second floor that is for the all-nighter. There are a lot of study rooms that can be reserved beforehand, and comfortable couches on every floor as well. There is also the Biomedical Library just across the street. It's almost always less crowded than Geisel. It's usually very nice and a lot more quiet. Like Geisel, there are also a lot of computers available for use that you can unlock with your student account. And there's always good sunlight in there during the day, which is very nice. Every college also has a commuter lounge. ERC Commuter Lounge is one of them. Most of them are also equipped with microwaves, so you can heat up your lunch if needed. There are study spaces and Price Center as well, with computers available again to all students with your student account. And the good thing is everywhere on campus has Wi-Fi, so you can study outdoors if you want. La Jolla is perfect for this because it's always really nice weather with being outside. Some of my personal favorites are studying at Starbucks or Pete's Coffee. I also love studying at Mom, which is the middle of Muir, inside of their restaurant that they have, Roots. Also really great food over there.
Thank you so much, Ivana. All right, Mary, coming back to you. What ways can incoming students get involved, make friends, and create a social life for themselves?
Yeah, well, we know that UCSD is rigorous, and we all acknowledge that, but there are still so many social opportunities that exist. You just have to seek them out. So orientation and week 0, or what we call welcome week, there are tons of activities that go on every minute of every single day, and it really will fit to anyone's preferences. We often recommend just saying hi to people. I mean, don't be afraid to be the first one to go up and say hi to someone, because it's more likely than not that the other person is also terrified of making the first move. Most people get their main social life or their core group of friends through the people they live with or the orgs that they're a part of. So for me, my core group of friends actually came from my roommates and from Lebanese Club. My roommates my first year here were a bunch of strangers that I did not know, but it ended up being that the girl I shared my room with is my very best friend now, and we do everything together. And all of the people, all the members that are a part of Lebanese Club, we all talk on a daily basis, and honestly, it just becomes a little family that you really feel comfortable sharing a lot of moments with. But one of the largest social scenes on campus is Greek life. Some other universities have Greek housing and like a street full of houses with fraternity and sorority students, but we don't have that. But even without the housing, there's still a tight-knit community, and they participate in weekly events with one another, and they really create a support system that helps each other along the way. But again, all of this can be done with or without Greek life, so it's up to your choosing. If you're a transfer, regardless of your housing on or off campus, Ellie's newsletter is actually a really good way to see the events that are going on in ERC and making sure that you're not feeling too left out. Don't feel as though you're too old to get involved. There's no such thing. It's honestly just a matter of you reaching out to the community that you want to be a part of.
Thank you so much, Mary. All right, headed back to Braden. What can you tell us about the quarter system, classes, and making of the modern world sequence?
So we're on the quarter system, meaning that we have a fall, winter, and spring quarter, and then an optional summer quarter in case you want to get a little bit ahead on your class. Each quarter is 11 weeks. That's 10 weeks of instruction and then a finals week. It's a little bit fast-paced compared to semester schools, but it does allow you to take a wider variety of classes. Most students will typically take 3 to 4 classes, which is about 12 to 16 units. And most transfers, while already having completed their lower division requirements, with the exception of MMW, the general ed with the exception of MMW, they get to jump right into their major specific upper division courses, which I really liked coming You do get to choose your schedule, but it is important to keep in mind time for studying and socializing as well, because if you're able to actually manage your time well, there is plenty of time outside of class and studying to make friends, get involved on campus, and be social. Every college does have its own set of general education requirements. The main course for ERC is Making of the Modern World, or MMW. The transfer series of MMW, MMW 121 and 122, is a history-based writing course. There are 2 of them you need to take. It's designed for students of all majors, so not just history majors, poli-sci, or any other humanities-based major. It's not tailored for them, it's tailored for everyone. It integrates history, writing, and scientific developments throughout time. Each course culminates with a research paper on any topic reflecting the course themes. So for example, one of my friends and I, we've written about stuff ranging from how social media can induce stress, all the way to human rights violations. So it gives you a wide breadth of topics to cover. It also provides students with the ability to critically analyze history and learn to become better critical thinkers. You're taught how to analyze primary documents and formulate a research proposal. And the skills developed while you're taking this course, they're actually important regardless of your major, and they allow ERC students to be more rounded individuals. The nice thing is only ERC transfer students are going to be in your MMW courses, so it really gives you a way to build a community and meet a lot of people who are going to be in ERC and participating in a lot of those events as well. Another great thing about this MMW series is it does count towards your upper division credits, so you don't have to take quite as many upper division classes. You can go to more lower division classes if you prefer. Additionally, if you do transfer with your full AGET-C certification, the MMW series is the only general ed you need to take apart from the EDI requirements.
Thanks so much, Braden. Okay, Ivana, what types of support and resources does UC San Diego offer?
The good thing about UCSD is that there are many different resources available free to all students. These are actually paid for by your student fees, so I encourage you to use them. There are a number of academic support resources, such as course-specific tutoring in math, science, and foreign languages. There's also writing assistance, and you can always meet with a professor or TAs during their office hours to discuss course material. We also have the Career Center. They can help with resume and cover letter writing, finding internships and research opportunities both on and off campus, and they host career fairs every quarter to get you connected with future employers. The Student Services Center offers FAFSA support and also student ID help. There's a Student Health Services Center. There's a wellness center called The Zone at PC. There are also community and identity-based resources such as the Women's Resource Center, Black Student Resource Center, Raza Resource Centro, and the LGBT Resource Center. These centers provide a safe space for all students and put on events catered to their specific communities. We definitely pride ourselves in having great resources for those with basic needs as well. This resource is called The Hub, and it includes resources for food insecurity, financial wellness, and housing stability. For example, all students are able to select fresh produce and packaged goods each week throughout the year at the Triton Food Pantry. There's also a great resource called Coffee with a Prof and Dine with a Prof, where you can solely sit down with your professor and hang out with them and get to know them a bit better. For transfers, as mentioned before by Mary, networking is definitely a large part of the college experience, and with a limited amount of time, which offers students the best chance to get to know their professors and establish a network among a variety of faculty. Your major departments will also be a great resource to help you plan your major-related courses throughout your time here.
Thanks so much, Ivana. All right, Mary, coming back to you. Many students and their families are concerned about safety, health, and wellness. Can you explain what resources our campus has to ensure students' well-being?
Yeah, so UCSD takes exhaustive measures to ensure everyone's safety of its students and its staff. In 2018, UCSD was actually ranked as one of the safest colleges in the United States by the National Council for Home Safety and Security. We have many resources like something called the blue light system, which are literally stations of blue light poles that are all around campus and that are accessible to any and all students or anyone who needs it. When triggered, the police will get there in 90 seconds to assess the situation and provide help. UCSD also has its own police department called the UCPD, and they know the campus like the back of their hand because they're trained to, and they can respond to specific locations that students would be, even if your descriptions are very brief and not as descriptive. At night, we have something called Triton rides by CSO community service officers and escorts, which are community safety officers. These services go from 8 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. daily, and they can be called using your phone and ID, or there's also a Tap Ride app that can be used to access them. There's also a shuttle service around campus that can take you within 1 mile off campus and to different locations all around our main campus. There's also the AS Safe Rides, which provide 2 free lifts, which are worth $10 each every quarter to every single registered student. There's also Triton alerts, which are texts and emails that both the students and the parents get for reports about activity on campus or anything that needs to be sent out as an alert. And even throughout all of these, there are daily patrols and there's always police and security around campus to ensure students' safety at all hours of the day and night. There's also student health insurance that you have to have some form of health insurance, whether it's your own or your parents, or the SHIP, which is the Student Health Insurance Plan through UCSD. If you choose not to use the UCSD health insurance plan, then you have to sign a waiver to opt out of UC-SHIP, or else you're automatically signed into the program. Even if you do have off-campus insurance, you still have access to all of the campus resources, and there is a 24-hour nurse hotline regardless of your insurance situation. The student health building is located at the center of campus right near Geisel Library, and it prioritizes mental health and well-being. And we have the counseling and psychological services, or what we call CAPS, which is located in each college as well as in the student health service in the center of campus. There's a 24-hour crisis call line, self-help resources, and appointments to speak to someone in person if you feel like you need to. As Ivana mentioned earlier, there's also the Zone, which has therapy fluffies, yoga, quiet spaces, and free tea for anyone who wants to go and relax. Some people do prefer to work out, and we do have plenty of spaces for that as well. We have 2 main gyms, REMAC right next to ERC and Pete's Coffee, the rec center, indoor and outdoor pools, and even a rock climbing wall.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, last question is for you, Braden. Can you tell us about transportation options, such as getting around campus, getting off campus, and parking on campus?
Yeah, for sure. So as Mary mentioned earlier, for on-campus transportation, there are campus shuttles, and those run Monday through Friday. And there's also a separate Saturday shuttle, and they're free for all UCSD. So for example, when my MMW class was at Galbraith Hall and I lived in the village, I would take the shuttle down there when I didn't feel like walking across campus. The UCSD app does let you track the shuttle's locations real time, and there is also a website that gives you the schedule of the buses and the stops. The nice thing is the schedule is pretty consistent. You don't have to wait more than like 5 or 10 minutes for a shuttle. There's also Bird and Spin electric scooters around campus, and as well, a lot of students also will bring their own bikes, skateboards, electric scooters, etc. For on-campus transportation, there's a couple ways to get off campus. The main one is the MTS bus. All students at UCSD get a free bus pass with their student fees. It's typically used to go between off-campus housing and the campus itself. There's also a UCSD shuttle, like Mary mentioned earlier. This one, it can transport students to grocery stores like Ralph's, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's. There's also a Saturday grocery shuttle as well that can transport you to some other stores too. The coaster train, if you want to visit home or if you want to go between La Jolla or LA, if you live in the areas between, of course, there's discounted student rates. And there's also a couple zip cars on campus, which are cars that you can rent by the hour. For parking, transfer students do have the option of buying a parking pass. There's a couple of passes available, such as the discount pass, the student pass, and the student resident pass. The last one, student resident, is only available for students who live on campus. Correspond to D spots, S spots, and SR spots located throughout campus. However, sometimes during the day, parking can be difficult to find on campus, so that is something to keep in mind. Each student, they are allowed 10 free parking passes for the weekend per quarter. So if you want your friends, family, or parents to come visit you, they can either purchase a visitor parking pass using the Park Mobile app, or they can use one of your free weekend day passes. And as always, parents and family, they're welcome on campus anytime.
Awesome. So I think that wraps it up. We hope that you learned a lot of information from this session. And if you want to learn more, please go to the Transfer Triton Day website, and you can see lots of videos from different campus departments. Thanks so much.